Hey guys, so welcome to tonight's live streaming session, and let's see guys, okay? So right now, maybe let us dive into the short-term market movement, see what the market is offering us right now. So as you guys could see, that market has been moving on a sideways range. Okay, so let us get started for tonight. And definitely right now we are watching what's moving on the markets, and definitely we are going to see one by one what's going on the market and what we can use out of this market, guys. Alright, so let us get started. So basically what really happened since yesterday until today is we actually do see that market movement on the market on this gold chart has actually shown us a little bit of a bigger volatility than usual, because if you guys take a closer look on the market, you guys could actually look at how the market has been moving. And definitely with this kind of movement, it is expected to see that the price action will be a bit slower. So my expectations on the gold market for tonight, maybe we could be actually seeing the possibility that prices will be slowing down, guys. Okay, and definitely with this kind of market movement, I'm expecting that tonight's market action is just a slight rebound. So if you guys take a closer attention, since Tuesday we have already been seeing prices dropping until we started to see a consolidation starts to happen around 3,200 area, 3,260 towards 3,300, and prices starts to have a rebound. But the rebound hasn't been very well, and the price tendency that we are seeing here is prices are likely to drop, guys. Okay, so as you guys could look out here closely, based on the short-term market movement here, we've actually been seeing the signs that prices continues to go weaker for tonight, and we still need to remember, guys, okay, that tonight we'll be having a news data coming out from the US durable goods, and with this kind of market movement, I would say that market has been moving in that direction. So with this kind of market movement, I'm expecting that the price movement on gold tonight will be a bit weaker, because I'm seeing that the price volatility has slowed down. We have already been seeing prices hasn't been able to break higher than 3340 at the current moment that we are seeing the charts. So it's been very clear that signs that are showing us right now that prices starts to slow down, and we are going to see that the tendency for prices to remain on this huge sideways range, guys, because honestly speaking, the rebound itself hasn't been pretty well. Because take a closer look, that the price rebound hasn't been very well. Prices has a lot of tendency to go down weaker, and right now we are actually testing the uptrend rebound channel around here. So this is actually showing us that price action hasn't been moving well, and there's a lot of tendency for prices to continue to drop, guys. Okay. So with that in mind, I actually wanted to say that I know that most of you guys are still bullish in the gold market, and definitely you guys can do so. But one of the main things that I would love to say on the market is that prices remain under a lot of pressure, and I do see a good chances for prices to continue to keep dropping, as you guys could see here. Alright, so I would say be careful on the short term. There's a huge tendency for prices to continue to drop. That's the view on the short term on the gold market, and I do expect that prices will be dropping, but not much, maybe around 3,350. So it's not going to big swing or any big significant movement, but it's just slightly showing us where the trend is currently bringing us. Is it's going to be a huge sideways between 3,260 towards 3,350, and prices hasn't been able to move further away from those markets, guys. Alright, so with this kind of market movement, it's been pretty clear to say that we are not going to see a huge significant drop, but it's merely going to be this kind of market movement, guys. Alright, so let's say this way. So I'm expecting this kind of tight market movement that couldn't be bringing us such a huge swing. And definitely right now, even though the tendency is likely to go lower, but I would like to say to you guys, be careful. There's good chances to see that the prices will start rebound near the spot, as we have a support at 3,320. And from there, prices could start to rebound, moving out any noise that has been coming down, and basically giving us an unclear directions. Okay, so for now, I would say the tendency is slightly to drop, but since we have a news coming out in another, I would say another 2 hours, so I'm expecting that prices will slowly going lower and lower, but the movement won't be much. So definitely you guys need to be patient and see out how the market movement works next, guys. Alright, okay, so that's the view on the short term, but what about the long term market? So the long term market, I think I've already been discussing it with you guys, that there's a lot of tendency to see prices to be further weakened. As you guys could see, prices has been jumping and then dropping with a lot of uncertainties happening around the market, and definitely the long-term market movement has started to be in a much of a blur, guys, because even though right now we still do see that prices still remains under a bullish trend. So as you guys could see, the uptrend is still there, it's clear. But one thing I would love to say is that with yesterday's event coming out in the market, it's actually showing us that the possibility that the geopolitical tension could be easing, and with that easing we could actually be seeing the possibility that price actions on gold won't be that much as we used to see, and there's a bigger tendency for prices to continue to move on a sideways range as of now. And if those escalation starts to slow down, we could actually be seeing prices starts to move around 3,300 area instead of just directly jump towards the all-time high prices, record prices. And definitely we are looking at a good possibility that this huge sideways range could be the domain for gold market movement moving in these ranges as of now, guys. Alright, so I'm expecting gold will be slowing down as of now with this kind of market movement happening on the market, and definitely we are going to see what it brings us next, guys. Alright, but certainly I won't be as bullish I used to be, but certainly the uptrend still exists, and definitely I could be wrong, but certainly I don't want to move out on the market and see where it brings us. Okay, so definitely one of the things I'm expecting that prices should be slowing down as of now and not giving us any clear directions whether it will be continue going higher, as right now we are currently testing the support, testing the consolidations, see where it will be bringing us next on the market, guys. Alright, so that's the view. On the short term, tendency is going to weak. On the long term, I'm expecting a huge sideways range on this gold market. So if you guys have any opinions about the market and you guys are interested, you guys could let me know on the comments, and definitely I'll be reading the comments and help you guys to clarify some of the trades if you guys have, or what's your view on the market, and definitely I'm open for any discussions with you guys. Alright, so that's the view on the long term. Short term wise, I think I've already been giving you guys a very clear analysis that since prices yesterday dropped, I would say a little bit drastic, and definitely that's what we are seeing. So if you guys pay a closer attention, that with the drop happening, we started to see a rebound happening on the market, and with that we start to see a rebound inside this, I would say, the secondary trend. So right now we are moving on this sideways range, and so last night we do see that prices has been able to move on a high low, but certainly the price action hasn't been that well. We could see that there's a lot of tendency for price actions to go lower after last night hitting at 3,370. We haven't been able to see prices break out of 3,350. So with that in mind, I would say that tonight we have a news, and that news could be actually reacting towards the market, and it's going to give us some kind of clarity where the directions tonight will be. Personally, I'm still expecting that we won't be seeing any clear directions going up or going down, but it will be just moving on this huge sideways between 3,350, 60 maybe at the most, towards 3,300 something if it goes down. So that's what I'm looking at the market on the short term basis. Okay, so that's my view for tonight, and it's still too early to say because another 2 hours the news will be coming out, and it's going to take some time before that happens. So we'll see, guys. Alright, okay, now since we are discussing on the gold market, actually something interesting happening last night on the silver market is, if you guys do notice something on the silver market, I don't know whether you guys do look at the silver market, but definitely silver market has been quite interesting compared to the gold, guys, because last night when we are seeing that the gold market drop, we are seeing silver market actually managed to break out of the resistance. And definitely with those kind of changes happening, it's been pretty clear to say that right now we are going to expect that silver could be a much more interesting play compared to the gold, where silver could be actually giving us a bigger market movement and a clearer market directions compared to the gold market. So in a moment, we'll be taking a closer look on the silver market and see what it will be offering us for now, because as of now we are looking at the gold market, nothing much has changed. Price action has been slow, moving on this very tight sideways range on the short term, and on today's movement it has been quite slow as well. Okay, so if you guys are enjoying our market analysis sessions, you guys are welcome to support us by following us so that you guys don't miss out on any analysis. And if you guys are enjoying our content, don't forget to give us your likes and thumbs up. Definitely appreciate your support, and share this video with your friends if you guys love what you guys have been watching. Alright, so let us see where this brings us next on the silver market. Okay, so what happened last night on silver? I think silver market movement have gone much interesting, and I've already tell you guys multiple times. I've already been seeing the possibility of a breakout could be happening, but certainly I miss out on the silver market movement. But if you guys pay a close attention, then with this kind of consolidations that has been happening on the silver, and we actually do see the possibility that breaking out of resistance is a high possibility and could be giving us a huge market margin, so a total of, let's say, 80 cents, and prices has been jumping towards 60 to 70 cents since last night. So silver market movement has been quite interesting, where we are seeing that there is a inverted head and shoulder forming around here, and prices immediately breaks out when we are seeing that gold prices are suffering. So these are the different signs that is happening and different compared to the gold market. And with this kind of market movement, I actually do see the possibility that prices will still be able to push higher when we are seeing that currently gold prices is suffering. But I would love to mention that after yesterday's breakout, we actually do see that prices is right now slowing down and also consolidating after hitting the high, and right now we are playing at the support area around $33.28 towards $33.24, and right now there's a tendency for prices to also move in the same direction according to what is happening on gold. Gold is currently right now moving on this sideways range, and we are also seeing the same thing happening on the gold market. So as of now, I would say that the market will be slowing down. That will be certainly the case, and around this time it will always be slower. But one of the main changes, if I'm looking from the daily charts, is we're actually seeing good signs that prices has already been much of a safer place, continuing its original uptrend channel. And based on this chart, we could be seeing prices start to play above $33, as we have already mentioned since the last few days, and it has already been a reality right now. And we do see prices has a tendency to move up higher if anything goes well, to play around $34 or $35 in the near future. but certainly it's going to take time, and certainly the most realistic market movement that we are going to expect, that market will be moving around the $33 ranges towards $34 ranges at the meantime speaking on the new future, where market movement has been much better compared to the gold market as of now. Okay, so if we compare gold has already been going through a lot of significant rise, and right now we are seeing that happening on silver. It's a little bit late, but certainly it's much better. When something else is not going well on the gold market, we could still head over to see what the gold market could be offering, what the silver market could be offering us instead. Okay, so with this kind of market movement, it's still a little bit of positive. Well, like I said, with the momentum is still there, we are seeing right now that prices are still in the same market movement as what we have been seeing on the gold. Prices are consolidating, showing us no clear signs, and we are expecting that prices could start moving nearing the news, where in the news it will be starting in another 2 hours. We'll be seeing US durable goods together alongside with the US initial jobless claims, and definitely that will be the main event for tonight. New sessions, bigger volatility, and maybe you could be seeing the directions on gold could start appearing, giving us a much clearer signs, because so far from what I could be seeing, we are not seeing any clear signs happening on the market, guys. Alright, so it's going to be a bit slower, a bit murkier, because if you're trying to trade, maybe you'll be getting the most around 30 to 20 pips. If you guys are scalpers, certainly this is a good choice to trade, especially on this sideways. Do sell on the high, do buy on the low, but personally I'm not doing those kind of trades, and I'll try to see where the market directions will be bringing us next. And right now, so far from what I could be seeing, there's a high tendency to prices to go down lower, because so far we are seeing that the support area is likely to be breached, and the tendency, and over the last few hours prices has been unable to go higher, and instead prices just goes weaker over the last 2 hours, guys. Okay, so we've already been discussing what's going to happen on gold, what's going to happen on silver, and certainly with this kind of market movement, I would say good chances to start seeing price will be moving soon. Okay, prices starts dropping below 3324 around this support area. For most of the time it has been moving in this range. We could actually start seeing a good possibility that prices will start moving, guys. Okay, for now it's too early to say, even though the direction is right now seems to be breaking down of its original uptrend channel. I mean, I would say the minor uptrend channel, and right now we are going to see some chances. If it starts to break down lower, we could be seeing prices starts to drop here, where prices has been going down with high volumes, and certainly it has been quite a good indication that price action could be heading next lower, even though it's not what we are seeing on the silver market. As usual, we know that silver market is usually a bit complicated and a bit tricky to play, tricky to trade. So I would say maybe right now we could try to focus more how the gold market movement is happening soon. Alright, and definitely right now we are back towards the same scenario where prices just keeps on moving on this very tight ranges again and again. And certainly this is a very tricky market. I would say I will be waiting, guys. Alright, so I'll be waiting, even though the signs are showing us that prices are going to drop, but so far I'm not getting the confidence of seeing the possible market movement. I'll prefer to wait as of now, guys. Alright, Alright, so in a moment, I think it's very much important for us to discuss what's actually happening on the other side of the gold pair. Because if you guys pay a closer attention towards the market, it's been very clear that on every single pair on the gold and silver, you guys could definitely see that there is a pair accompanying the gold and the silver with the US dollar index, and definitely what's happening on the US dollar index could eventually have some effect on the market. And I think it's very much important to see what's happening on the US dollar index rather than just focusing on what's really happening on the gold, because some actions happening on the US dollar index could be really affecting the gold market itself, guys. Okay, so later on we'll be looking on the US dollar soon, but right now it seems that there's some movement. Let us wait, see out what's going to happen. But personally, I'm just saying that it's going to be the same market movement we have been seeing over the last 2-3 hours, that prices are just moving towards a low, high, low, high, low, high. So this is certainly a very good market for scalpers, where you guys could be doing sell and earn like 20 to 30 pips, and doing buy near the lows and selling near the highs. And so far it has been the trend. And definitely, if you guys have been watching and you guys have been paying attention towards the gold market itself, certainly this is a very clear market movement showing you guys that buying low and sell high around these tight ranges has been a very profitable trade for you guys as well. Okay, so for now, me as a swing trader, I won't be chasing this kind of market movement, and I'll be watching and seeing how the market reaction works, especially near the US durable goods, going to be having a much better market movement happening later on. Because everything from what has been happening is just been very clear. Prices has just moved on this sideways range, guys. Okay, no clear directions. We'll wait. The tendency for me, I'm looking at personally, is going to go down. All right. Okay. Let us wait, see out how it pans out. And let us move towards what's happening on the US dollar index as of now, because we have already been looking that gold hasn't been offering us anything clear. So let us go back towards the US dollar index and analyze what's happening on the market. Okay, so if you guys are just joining us, I bet that you guys have missed out on some gold and silver analysis. Definitely you guys are welcome. And definitely if you guys are new, you guys are welcome to follow and subscribe so that you guys don't miss out on the earlier analysis as usual. If you are subscribing and following us, you will be getting notified whenever we start our live streaming sessions. Okay, so now what we are looking at the market is we are trying to look out at the US dollar index, and the US dollar index has been showing us a very clear trend that the power is slightly to go down lower and lower, with no signs of any rebound could be happening on this market. And it has been very clear that with this kind of market movement on the long term, it's going to see that the US dollar index will suffer and continue to suffer. And definitely it has been quite in line. That's on the long term. And definitely if we are watching back closer towards the shorter time frame, trying to look what has been happening over the last week, we've definitely been seeing prices has touched from 100.2 and right now hits the lowest at $97.7. And right now we are started to see the rebound happening in line with our view around this area, and right now prices starts to slow down after hitting those rebound area as expected, as we have already been predicting that prices will be bouncing and then dropping and then bouncing again and then another drop on the long run, and everything has been quite in line with our view so far. Okay, but personally for me, I'm saying that everything has still been in line with the downtrend channel and prices has been moving very well according to it. Sometimes we are seeing that prices starts to move on a, I would say it's giving a false breakout here and there. So for example, you guys could be seeing that prices do have a false breakout near the 27 of February, 20 March, and certainly some false breakout do happen, but all leads to the same directions eventually, where prices continues to fall. So certainly the trend is very clear. And with this kind of market movement, we are actually expecting that prices on the short term will definitely suffer, as we also already been seeing that prices has been able to touch towards those price. And based on those market movement, we have already been seeing that prices just continues to drop after giving us a false breakout in the short term, but everything is much in line. The resistance is still there, 99.37 towards $99.4, and prices just continues to drop as a result. Okay, so all of this has been clear, showing us the tendency that prices are likely to go down rather than go up. And with this kind of market movement, it has been certain to say that price action should be going down lower rather than go higher. And with this kind of market movement, this has actually helped to push up gold prices, because as you guys could see that over Wednesday until tonight, we have already been seeing that gold prices has been able to benefit some of this kind of market movement, as we see the drop on the US dollar index has helped to push up the prices on the gold and giving the rebound that we are expecting coming out from the gold market. So as you guys could see from Wednesday around here, prices starts to jump, where we are seeing the weaknesses starts to appear on the US dollar index, and right now we are seeing the possibility that the market movement could start to move, and since then we are still waiting, getting more confirmations, and so far the weaknesses appearing on the US dollar index has helped to push up gold prices from $3,300 towards $3,360 in a very short period of time before slowing down, going back lower. But overall, the signs right now, we are still seeing that the US dollar index starts to drop back. So if you guys take a closer look, but gold hasn't been moving much since then. Okay, so the drop do happen to push up gold prices, but right now so far market movement has been consolidating without a clear movement. Okay, so definitely I'll be waiting for more market clear directions and see how the gold market move pans out, because so far from the gold and silver market movement we have already been looking at, everything are still moving on a sideways range on both gold and silver. Okay, so it's going to take some time, and definitely we have some news coming out tonight, so definitely this kind of market movement will be affecting the market. Okay, and like I said, I haven't been seeing any clear signs. I'm expecting that there will be bigger market movements, but definitely it's not the time for now to see those market reactions happening. Alright, so after discussing what's been happening on the US dollar index, I think it's also important to also view what's going to happen on the other currency market movement, because certainly with the weaknesses starts to appear on the US dollar, it's going to see there will be some kind of interesting market movement that could be happening out of the other currency pairs, because with the weaknesses appearing on the US dollar index, we could actually be seeing some good results could be happening elsewhere on the other currency market. So let us take a closer look in a moment, while we are trying to see whether the market movement on gold could be starting giving us a little bit of a clear direction, starts breaking out higher. But so far from what we have already been experiencing, what we have already been watching, analyzing, it seems that the market movement will be pretty tight, and it's going to take something big to actually change the directions of the market. So right now, let us try to take a look, see where it will be bringing us next. Certainly, I'm still optimistic to see the possibility that prices could start dropping. But we'll see, guys. So far, I haven't seen any signs showing us in that direction. But I'm still pretty hopeful to see that possibility happening. Okay, prices hasn't been moving much. We'll see. It hasn't give us any confirmation, guys. As of now, we are waiting, watching, trying to see. And don't forget, guys, we'll be analyzing on the forex currency market against the US dollar index and what could be the next best market movement out from those market, guys. Alright, so don't miss out on those. Okay. Okay, Kelly, I've been trading for 2 years and I still make losses. What's your strategy? Okay, so I don't know whether you're still here because so far I'm seeing that no one's active. So if you're still here, I'll be talking about what's my strategy. But as of now, I think I'll be focusing more and see what will be bringing us next on the market and see where it could be leading us. Alright, so far this is what's been happening. We are not seeing any clear directions. I won't be doing much. I'm waiting for a bigger swing market in order for me to get the clear directions of the market and make some good trades out of it. Otherwise, I won't be moving much and doing much of the stuff. Okay. Alright, so my strategy is very clear. I'm waiting for a clear market direction. So I'm looking at a bigger trend market on the daily charts and make swing trades, and definitely swing trade in the meaning of seeing the bigger market movement happening on the daily charts rather than a shorter time frame like scalpers or day traders. And eventually, if everything goes well, I'll be holding my position based on how the trend is moving, guys, on the market. Alright, so I hope that helps you. I don't know whether you're still here, Kelly. And definitely with this kind of market movement, it has been able to help me to see out what's the best market movement, what's the best opportunities that have been happening in the market across different trading assets. And definitely I'm touching on all different trading assets. We've already been touching on commodities together with the US dollar index, and soon I'll be touching on the other currency pairs against the US dollar, guys. Alright, so in a moment we'll see, but certainly it seems that gold price movement starts to move a little bit. giving us a little bit of a direction, but so far I'm not that convinced yet. I will be needing more confirmations. I'm not rushing in to make any decisions. All right. Alright, so for now, let us move on, see what has been happening in the currency market, guys, because so far we haven't been able to see any clear directions happening on the gold. Okay, well, it seems that gold starts to go to 3,380. Okay, so that is certainly a good thing, but honestly speaking, on what has been happening, we have just been seeing the same direction, guys. Right, so this is the range that we are seeing that gold has been playing and hovering around, and definitely this kind of market movement hasn't been able to convince me of anything rather than just a slight movement going higher between these ranges, guys. 3324 towards 3338. I know it's a big move, and certainly you can definitely do the sideways trading strategy, doing sells high, buy low, but not for me, guys. I'm not looking for those kind of market movements. I'm waiting for bigger market confirmations happening on the market. Price starts to slow down again. Okay, so it's now near the high. If you guys are interested to do that scalping style, doing trades on the short term, this is your chance, guys. Near the high, stop losses above here. It's still a pretty reasonable risk reward. Try to find a better and higher entry point to do a sell. Could limit your risk much better. Alright, but for now I think I'll be moving towards the currency strength charts and see what's happening on here. And like I've always told you guys, that the currency strength charts has always been showing us one thing only, that it has been able to show us different market movements here and there, and we could actually be benefiting coming out of this market, getting a clear idea what's happening on the other currency pairs against what currency pair. So basically what we are trying to look out here is see which currency pair is the strongest for tonight, and see out which one is the weakest pair, and try to pair it against together, so you guys could get a clearer idea what's going stronger for tonight and what's going weaker for tonight. So as you guys could see that tonight, safe haven currency are back in line again, where we are started to see gold is started to rebound. We started to see that the Japanese yen is also rebounding alongside with the Swiss franc, even though we still do see that the bigger trend that US dollar has been weakening. Safe haven currency is still in a huge demand. Most of the other currency pairs are still going strong against the US dollar index. So for instance, if you guys right now take a closer look at the Euro, NZD, AUD, as well as GBP, it's been showing the clear signs that market is going higher and higher instead of going lower. And all of this is actually showing us only one thing, that market has been going on a clear trend, showing us the possibility that market movement is likely to go lower on the US dollar. Safe haven currency will get a lot of demand, and Euro, Pound Sterling, as well as Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar is benefiting most out of this market movement. So in order for you guys to see it clearly, in a moment I will be showing you guys what's happening through different currency pairs so that you guys don't get confused. Later on the lower side of the chart, there will be the signs of what currency I'm looking at, so that you guys don't get confused what's happening on the chart, what's happening live, so you guys could still see what's happening. Alright. Okay, so right now we are watching what's happening in the US dollar index, Japanese yen, and it has been very clear with the weaknesses starts to appear on the US dollar index, and we are seeing some strength coming back from the Japanese yen. We are seeing that the US dollar Japanese yen has been moving on the downtrend and hasn't been moving in other ways. And so far, if we are trying to look at the shorter time frame, it's been very clear prices do get over corrected. So as you guys could see, prices has been under a huge selling pressure, but it's been overextended the selling, and right now we see the rebound happen as what has been happening in the US dollar, and right now we start to see that the US dollar Japanese yen is slightly to head lower as well. But as of now speaking, price movement across different currency pairs, the most has just been moving around 40 pips, and definitely the movement won't be that much as you guys expected, because if you guys take a closer look on the left hand side of this currency strength charts, you guys could see that the price action is just the most around 50 to 40 pips, meaning that the market movement hasn't been showing us a lot of strength, and you definitely need a bigger and a stronger market movement to actually see what's been happening. Okay, because right now what I could be seeing is prices has just been moving on the lower range for most of the time. As you guys could see, US dollar CHF has been dropping, guys, and the trend is very clear, guys. Okay, and prices has been weakening. US dollar Japanese yen on the longer time frame, and has been building up on this, I would say, a triple top, and right now prices could be going down next here. Alright, so that's the view on the currency side, on the safe haven currency against the US dollar. And right now, if you are looking at the shorter time frame, US dollar CHF has been continuing to go weaker as of today. If you guys are looking at the 15-minute time frame charts right now that you guys are watching at, so definitely one of the main things that I'm looking at is trying to see where is the current market directions. And right now, we started to see that the US dollar somehow is regaining some of its strength. So comparing against some of the currency could be a bit tricky as of now, because we are seeing that AUD USD and NZD USD is also currently a little bit stagnant as well on the short term, alongside with GBP USD as well as Euro USD. We could be a little bit seeing a mix of markets and not moving and showing us a stagnant market around this corner, guys. Right, so as you guys could see, over the last 3 to 4 hours, we have already been seeing prices has just been moving on a sideways range instead moving on a trend. Alright, so definitely I will be waiting, as there are not a lot of clear signs prices starts to rebound on the US dollar, and certainly that could be a little bit tricky to trade for now. Okay, so I hope that helps you, because as I've already told you guys that tonight's market movement hasn't been much. I'm going to expect that market movement will be a bit slower as a result. Okay, so let us get back towards the gold market, see what has been happening instead. So alongside with what I would say tonight's a bit tricky market, gold has been rising up together alongside with the US dollar index. So the US dollar index has been slowly going down, but surprisingly other currency has been quite weakening, and right now we are going to see some market movement happening soon. And if it starts breaking out higher with much more confirmations at what has been happening on the silver market, certainly we are getting a little bit of a greater market confirmations on this kind of market movement. If not, I think we'll be started to see that price action will still be a bit slow. Okay, so I will be waiting for clearer and better market confirmations here and there before actually seeing a good confirmations, because so far we have already been seeing prices has been stuck around this sideways range on this short term time frame. Okay, it seems like it starts to break out. Let us watch, let us see if the breakout does happen. This is a bullish sign, so we could be seeing a bottom, double bottom forming, even though it's not much, but certainly it's a move that is clear. Alright, so it starts to slow down. Like I said, guys, I haven't seen anything concrete coming out of this market movement so far. Okay, so let us see if another candlestick happens and it starts to break out in what with much a better market movement. That is certainly a good case. If not, I'm not expecting any great market movement appearing. Okay, so we'll see how the next market candlestick moves, and definitely it's going to give us a little bit of market confirmations on the short term, but still too early to say. We still have another 2 hours before we see the news came out, and it could really impact the market movement soon. All right. So let me have a drink first, guys, and I'll be back for a moment. Okay, so if you guys have been enjoying our live session so far, you guys are welcome to give us your support by following, subscribing, so that you guys don't miss out on any information that we are sharing. And if you guys love what you guys have been watching, you guys could definitely support us by giving us your thumbs up and likes. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see how it moves on both gold and silver for tonight. If everything goes well, good chances to see there is a good market movement happening soon. Okay, we start to see a confirmation. Definitely you can try to put some buy area around there, around this price. Certainly right now we are getting a little bit of a confirmation when prices starts to break out higher. Okay, so let me take my drink first and I'll be back with you guys, alright? Okay, so now once we are getting a little bit of confirmation, what I would love to do is I'll be waiting, see how the price reaction works around here, and definitely once we get a better market reaction, I'll be immediately entering around here, as I've already told you guys, right? So this is definitely a good entry point near the low, and if price action starts to go higher, this is certainly a good entry point. Okay. Okay, we are getting the confirmations, guys. So it seems that prices are immediately going higher. From what we have already been telling you guys, prices has been going well here, 3340, and prices has already been jumping by a total of 30 pips so far. Okay, 30 to 40 pips, and once we get the confirmations I've already been telling you guys, this could be a good entry point. And definitely, if you guys are watching, I hope you guys have been making some moves, guys, because the price action does well, and silver is also starts to move, so both are still doing very well. And definitely outside of gold and silver, I believe we haven't been able to keep in touch with what's been happening on the oil market, and later on I'll be discussing on the oil market with you guys together and what's been happening there. Okay. Even though it's a short-lived movement, we'll see. The confirmations are almost there, I would say, and we are going to see better market movement from here onwards. Okay, so we'll see, and definitely we still need to remember, guys, in another 1 hour plus we'll be having a new session on the US durable goods, and that would definitely impact the market. So watch out, be careful, guys. Alright. Okay, so let us try to take a look what's been happening on the oil market. So what has been happening on the oil market? So as I've said, guys, that last night the drop is pretty big, and it seems that there's a tendency that prices are going to weaken, and it seems that it has been happening in line with the view. And what has been actually happening on the oil market? So what's happened here is actually very simple. We have already been seeing prices under a huge pressure, I would say pressure. And under this kind of tendency, it's moving in a similar fashion with US dollar, which has really been dropping down. But one of the main themes that we are looking here is oil has been moving on sideways since 7th of April, and has been moving on a sideways, in a very huge sideways even, between $57.60 towards $63, and that really makes the difference. And out of this market movement, I would say that short-term wise, I'm expecting that prices will be moving on a sideways range as prices failed to break out higher than the sideways range, and we are getting a false breakout. Certainly that will be the case from what I could be seeing out from this chart on the daily time frame. But if we move back towards the shorter time frame, we could actually be looking at the good possibility that prices has also started to stagnate and unable to go further up than $63, and this could actually be a good resistance range and a good selling point with a pretty limited risk around here. So definitely I'll be waiting for better market confirmations as prices has already been dropping quite fast. I'm expecting prices could be returning to $63, and from there onwards we could be seeing price pressure will be much more on a short-term basis. So the long-term market movement has been still on downtrend, and right now as we are speaking, we are seeing that prices is still strict constraint between the sideways range between $63 and $60, and right now as we are looking at the charts right now, there's a tendency that prices should be slowing down here. Could be a good entry point with a stop loss around here. This could be actually one of the good trading point around the oil market for short-term basis, but I still prefer to wait as market on the oil market could be volatile, and we could be actually seeing much more market movement happening on the later market hours and during the US sessions. So I will definitely wait out, see how it pans out, and see the market reactions, giving me a little bit of much more confirmations on how the price action has been doing. But right now, certainly it could be offering you guys a possible double top and a good risk reward ratio. But for me personally, I'll still be waiting since we are using a very short time frame and the volatility in oil is pretty huge when the time comes. So I think I'll still prefer to wait out and sit out, see where it will be bringing us next, guys. Okay. I'm seeing the possibility if it could be breaking out, then it could be a different story. But at the same time, around this short-term breakout, there's always a possibility there's a resistance at $63, right? So that's why I'm waiting, see how it moves, guys. Okay. I would rather be late but getting the confirmations rather than rushing in towards the market. Alright, so let us go back towards the gold, see what has been happening. Alright, so since we say that there's a confirmation, prices has unable to break out higher, possible a false breakout again, guys. So let us watch out, see how it pans out. But personally, from what I'm seeing, there are good chances prices could start going higher from here. Okay, so maybe you guys put your stop loss around here. Yes, price movement has been quite big, but certainly it's a good thing. Okay, price starts to slow down. Okay, as I've said, I'm seeing a confirmation, but if prices do drop below 332, be aware, guys. Right, because there could be some good market movement could be happening, and let us see, guys. All right. Okay, so far we've already been discussing about all of the commodities that has been frequently traded, and we've already been touching on the forex side for tonight. So let's check it out and see if there's any changes happening since then. Alright. Okay, it seems that the US dollar starts to weaken again. But the rest of the currency, and I would say it's a little bit mixed. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. GBP has been going quite strong for tonight against the USD Euro as well. So that could be the difference maker for tonight. But so far we haven't been able to get the confirmations of a breakout from all of these currencies. And definitely I still prefer to wait. Market movement has been slow, as we have really been telling you guys. Be aware. I could see that sudden jump on the gold is caused by the possibility that the US dollar index suddenly jumps. As you guys could see in the short term, this gave a little bit of a jolt, but overall it doesn't really change the fact that there's a breakout could be happening, and we are seeing the slight market movement could be heading high instead of going lower as of now. Okay, so I think I'll be discussing what could be happening next on the stock indices, as we know that stock indices has been moving well yesterday, and we'll see what's the most recent update coming out from those market guys, right? Okay, so we're entering our last 15 minutes, so let us try to take a closer look what's happening on the stock indices soon. Okay, so based on yesterday's market movement, it seems that stock indices finally starts to break out of the market, guys. So that is certainly one of the biggest things that we are taking a closer look. So a possibility of a breakout, but eventually it failed and it just drops back, and right now we are right on the cups whether it will be breaking out or not. But so far prices has been stacked and hasn't been moving much from those ranges, so we could actually be looking at a possibility that a breakout could be happening soon, but maybe not today. Tomorrow could be the case, and we'll see how the price reaction works. Certainly last night, if it starts to break out, certainly it's a good thing, but it didn't, and it just conformed towards its original downtrend channel, which has already been formed for quite some times, and we could be actually started to see a good possibility that once the market movement starts to go higher, break out of it, giving us a much more of a clear market movement, then we could be easily saying that, alright, we are getting the confirmations right now, right away. But so far from the daily charts, we haven't been able to get that, and prices have still been moving on this sideways range for quite some times, and prices have the tendency to weaken around these ranges. Every time hitting the resistance, we could be actually getting a false breakout, or prices will slow down around here, and this is what happened. And right now we are very near towards the US market sessions in another few hours, so definitely after dropping, it has been recovering, and right now it's all again dropping after touching the resistance of the high. And with this kind of market movement, I will still be waiting, guys. Not a lot of confirmations. Definitely that will be the case. And maybe soon we could be getting some market reactions, but not as fast as you guys would be thinking. Certainly it's going to take some time. But I'm still pretty much optimistic to see the possibility to be happening, where prices could be dropping and dropping again. Alright, so on the US stock indices, I'll be waiting out, see where it will be bringing us next. Pretty much I'm confident to see a good possibility to happen from here on the US stock indices. And definitely after yesterday's false breakout, there's a good chances we could be getting another false breakout again. So nearing the high, it's a good thing to do a short, okay? Not just applying to US 100, US 500 could also be moving in the same direction, touching the high, a short, US 30 could be the same thing as well. Okay, so all of those three stock indices on the US side could be actually giving us the same market overview. That price actions right now starts to weaken, and good chances to see that the weakening there could help to push up gold prices momentarily. So far everything has been in line, I would say. Prices starts to rebound near the low. Okay, that's a good case. The same thing is also happening on the silver market. Okay, so far everything has been well. Oil, like I said, resistance around the high. Definitely I'll be watching out, see how it pans out. Starts to drop. Good chances to do another short. But we'll see. So if you guys do have any questions about the market, you guys could let me know on the comments, and definitely I'll be answering your questions as well, guys, right? Alright guys, so in another 5 minutes I'll be ending my live streaming session. So if you guys do have any questions, you guys could let me know, and definitely I'll be happily answering any of your questions on the market. Okay, so prices starts to rebound. That's a good sign. So we said guys, after a breakout we could be seeing a little bit of a slowdown, and there you guys could be adding on a lower prices, right? So far we've already been able to capture around 40 pips, and if prices starts to rebound from the low around here, and in another few moments we could be seeing a price rebound do happen, there are your chances to enter the trades guys, right? Alright, so if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. If not, in another few moments I'll be ending my live streaming session soon. Alright, I hope you guys have been enjoying our lives here, and I hope you guys get some insights about what's going to be happening in the short term, what could be happening in the long term market guys. So let us revisit a few of the markets before me ending our live streaming session. So far, silver market has been able to break out, but right now it's coming back. So we'll see how the market movement works at later hours. We could be getting some market movement. Same as what we are seeing in the gold. We could be actually seeing a breakout happening soon, but it's slightly dependent on how the news market will be moving, and we could be seeing faster market movement happening soon. So I would love to see that. And on the oil market, I'm still waiting guys. I'm not getting the confirmations for short, and definitely I'll be waiting, but doing a long seems that market is in a little bit of a tight positions, and in terms of entry points, I'm not getting the confidence that this could be a good timing to do another long at around this price again. Alright, and definitely other than the commodities, currency side wise, we started to see that the US dollar starts to rebound against the Japanese yen, against the Swiss franc, also against all of the other currency pairs starts to drop, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and definitely I believe the same case could also be happening at GBP as well as the Euro USD guys. So that's why I haven't been making my decisions on the currency trade, because so far I'm not getting the confirmations that prices will be going higher instead, and so far prices has been slow. So that's why I'm still waiting, seeing where it will be bringing us next. But so far we could be seeing the currency strength charts tonight is a little bit mixed, showing not a lot of great signs and great market movement so far. Okay, so other than that, I think it's almost time. So I'll be ending my live streaming sessions. Hope you guys are enjoying, and if you guys wanted to have further market movements and further discussion on what really happened last night, I'll be sharing more on my VIP live session. So if you guys are interested, you guys could check out my profile. And on my profile there, you guys could be getting the link for my community channel where you guys could be discussing trades, discussions, analysis about what's happening in the market. And you guys could get the link on my VIP live sessions. Alright, so I hope to see you guys there. If not, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow here as well at the same time, at the same place. See you guys. Bye.